It's Street Fighter time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today I'm going to have a look at the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter V Arcade Edition Alex figure. Now this one is a little bit of a surprise to me because Alex was a DLC character. Right now we're still going from top to bottom with Storm Collectibles. I don't really know what they're going to release next. I don't think... Do you have anything announced for Street Fighter yet? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's have a look at Alex. And this box is freaking huge. Did you know Alex is pretty damn tall? It's one of these things, I took him out of the box and I looked at him and I was like, wait, is this correct? And then I go and look it up and yeah, turns out it is correct. But he's like one of these characters like Geef that are always hunched over, so you really underestimate the size of him. That being said, how tall actually is he? He stands at, yeah, 20 centimeters, 8 inches tall to the top of his head when he stands up straight. We all know the regular Alex pose is really where he's hunched over and more in like a wrestling pose because he's a grappler and stuff. That being said, let's have a look at the detail of Alex. Once again, he sadly has a Street Fighter V design. I say sadly because overall he looks good. I like the face paint and everything. The main problem with him was his hair, that it kind of looks like McDonald's fries. You know, you have the red headband and you have the yellow hair, which by the way on this figure, his hair is very muted and it's not really that blonde. It does look a little bit more green under the camera than it does in reality, so just keep that in mind. But the face, the eyes are still molded very nicely. It still looks accurate, there's no problem with that. The hair is nicely molded, however, and it is all soft plastic. He does have different hair pieces for battle poses, but we'll have a look at that once we get to the accessories. Let's have a look at all the muscle work that went into this guy, because that's quite impressive. Some collectibles so far, we've gotten a lot of big dudes, of course, because of Street Fighter and Tekken, and I mean all fighting games really. But other than Geef, we didn't have anybody where we really got all the muscle power in its greatness. And I gotta say, Storm Collectibles does such a great job on all the little detail, the kings, the traps, the biceps, the triceps, and the six-pack. It looks like it is in the game. His suspenders, by the way, are soft plastic. We have little gold buckles on there. The gloves have a little bit of a worn look to them, and I love that about Storm Collectibles. That's one of the big differences between Storm Collectibles and SH Figuarts, for example. The Figuarts figures always look squeaky clean, but this is really as it looks in the game, so it is more accurate. You got the belt over here and the soft plastic jacket or whatever he has over it. Have some more dirt effect stuff going on over there. The pants over here are all ripped up in the game, and they did a very good job. And I mean like the molding and paint job combined, it makes it stick out very nicely, especially in the thighs. The knee over here looks a little bit messy. I'm not too much of a fan of that one. And down at the boots. Man, look at all of this detail over there. It's not even painted, but I like how that looks. It looks pretty messy and, once again, not squeaky clean as we've seen in other lines before. And yeah, that about does it for all the detail of this guy. Let's have a look at the articulation. Standard stuff for Storm Collectibles. A lot of soft plastic and actually very good articulation. I'm just saying you right away. The head is on a small ball joint. You can rotate it around, but the ball joint itself is not really getting that much motion. You really don't get anything out of that because there's no room. But that's why you have an entirely soft plastic torso and a long pack that goes down in the neck. So you get all the articulation out of that, and then his brain is exposed. But you have to really give it a little bit of a push. Goes down all the way. Goes up nicely, and it does go side to side. So really it's just a neck articulation. For the shoulder you have a pack that ends in a ball joint, so you can rotate that around. As you can tell, the entire body here moves with it because it's soft plastic. You have a hinge that does move up 45 degrees, not much more. A floaty piece in there that covers it up. You have to play around a little bit to properly line it up, but it does the job well. You have a little bit of a gap though down here still. Could have made it a bit bigger, maybe. It doesn't do as well as drop as I've seen previously, but then again, he is big. He's really huge, and you gotta remember that. You have a bicep swivel, double hinged elbow, 45 degrees goes up, and a ball joint in the fist, and it just goes off with a hinge on it, so you can bring that up and down. And is this? Yeah, you can take this off. If you do take that off though, you have the ball joint that just sticks out like a sore thumb, so you don't really want to do that. But I mean, you can. That's, I guess, also an interesting point if you want to do customs, that you can take stuff off. And that's another feature about Stomp Collectibles. This is probably all fairly easily removable if you play around with it. I mean, if I would disconnect the torso, I could take this off, and straps go down. You could take the straps down, I guess, because it's soft plastic. And if he goes seriously, kind of like a Kurt Angle, wrestling reference. I mean, he is Hulk Hogan. In Street Fighter 3, he was basically Hulk Hogan, and Hugo was Andre the Giant.
Prepare for battle. Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
There you got your wrestling reference for the day. Now, continuing with the torso articulation, it goes forward nicely. It does go back also pretty well. You get a little bit of a gap in the back though. Let me see. It's really hard to move all this around, but yeah, he goes forward a lot. It does go side to side very nicely, and you can rotate it around to a certain degree. Torso is actually hard plastic, surprisingly. And then we got the diaper part over here, which is soft plastic again, so you can rotate that around. You can bring that side to side, back and forth, and it does rotate around once again. Just be aware the suspenders are connected over there. Are they glued in or pegged? No, they're on tiny pegs, so I guess you could take that off. Yeah, it looks like you can take that off. Then the legs, you can bring that forward very nicely and do a big boot. And it does go out to the side. It does go to the back. They seem a little bit loose. But I recently had Heihachi, and this looks he was a little bit limited. This seems better, and also can rotate it around. But you can see the big ball joints over there, which are just on a long pack with a hinge. So that does very good, very well. And then the double hinge knee. It's okay. I mean, it looks good. It looks okay. Have a little bit of a gap, but once again, it's knees, guys. You have the boot on a swivel, which is also very nicely done. You have a little bit of wrinkles and stuff going over here, and it does not break up the sculpt, is what I'm trying to say. Then the boots, the foot itself, can bring that side to side, can bring that back and forth, and it has a toe hinge. So there you got that. Now for the accessories, starting off with the faces. You got one yelling face and one angry gritting teeth face. If the camera would focus, please. There's the yelling face. And then there's the angry gritting teeth once again. He's also squinting a little bit in this one. I like that. The little bit of change in the eyes. So really giving it not just changing the mouth, but changing more. You got chop hands, of course, because he is a wrestler. You need to be able to chop. It also is one of his moves. We got some more posing hands, and really just kind of going for grabs. They're all soft plastic, by the way. For the chop, you got this effect. You just kind of slide the hand in here. I think it's the wrong hand, but yeah, nice see-through yellow plastic. You have a little bit of a line over there where you can tell where to put the hand in. Doesn't really, you know, you're only seeing it under the light. And then we got this one, 4 big fist. It was like a crush counter. I'm not sure anymore. And then we got 2 hair pieces. As I said, for battle poses, if he backdashes, hair goes forward. If he dashes in or just goes for a big grab, the hair goes backward. And you get the base. People have asked me before, where do you get Stomp Collectibles bases? Only with Street Fighter characters. I don't know why. Like, none of the Mortal Kombat or Tekken guys. I mean, we only have Heihachi so far for Tekken. But nobody gets a base other than the Street Fighter guys. So if you want bases, just, you know, gotta look for Stomp Collectibles Street Fighter on eBay or whatever. Maybe some people are selling the bases itself. I don't, so don't ask me. And finally, we have the New York stage backdrop, which is where Alex actually debuted. He was in the back in Season 1, and when they actually released him in, I think that still was Season 1, but it was like the first DLC pack. Then he vanished from the background and he actually became a playable character. And finally, just to give you an idea just how big he really is, here he is next to Geef. He almost towers up like at the same size. He's a little bit smaller, which I don't remember what I said about Geef, but I do still believe he could be a little bit taller now, especially having him side by side. Once again, don't underestimate the size of Alex. Geef is still a little bit wider, but he has that kind of weird narrow chest, which could still use a little bit work, but I mean overall, I'm not reviewing Geef right now. I just want to show you all the muscly wrestling goodness, because those are the only two wrestling characters in Street Fighter V right now. Final thoughts of this figure. Once again, Storm Collectibles delivers. He definitely looks accurate, he's definitely in scale, and he's definitely built the way he is in the game, super wide. And that's the thing always is Storm. I'm looking like at SH figure arts, the Dragon Ball figures. You have a lot of Gokus, and you have a lot of characters that kind of use the same body. But with Storm Collectibles, it seems like every character is always completely new mode, completely new look. And that's very respectable. Yeah, I mean, the only two parts that are a little bit off to me is the color of the hair and the knees a little bit messy, but that's just a very, very tiny complaint. So yeah, obviously I do recommend this guy, even though he's not my first choice for Street Fighter character, but I mean, it's good that they're doing like lesser known characters, because, you know, Alex needs some love too. We need some more Alex. I think, is this the first time we're getting an Alex figure? I don't know if Soda did one back in the day. I need to look that up. But anyway, that's gonna do it. As usual, thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, gameplay stuff, and whatever Alex wants.